Hey, welcome back to my channel Endless Pages. I'm Liv and welcome to today's video, which is a reorganization of my book cart, which will feature my priority physical TBR. Welcome to this video. As you can see, I have an empty book cart here. I made a video when I first got this book cart a while ago, maybe like a yearish ago. I can't actually remember how long ago I got this. And I made a video putting on what was my, at the time, physical TBR. Kind of the priorities on my physical TBR, I should say. That I didn't really stick to that. If you've watched my videos before, you won't be surprised by that news that I didn't stick to that. And it just kind of ended up as a dumping ground for new books I bought or books that I moved when I rearranged my shelves. So this kind of cart has been neglected in the corner of my room and kind of forgotten about. So I thought since we're heading in towards the end of the year, that now is a good time for a refresh going into 2026. And my physical TBR priorities have kind of changed since I got this cart, so I thought it was time for an update. So I've taken everything off, as you can see, and I'm going to talk you through what's going on here. First up, we have 3 books that I definitely should have read by now. They were already on the cart, they're going back on the cart. They should have been read by now and they're still priorities to read, so I'm going to talk you through those. First up, we have Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've read 2 other books from Taylor Jenkins Reid, Daisy Jones and the Six and The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I gave both those books 5 stars, so this should be a priority as it's clearly an author that I like their writing. This, I want to assume it's still a historical fiction. I'm not quite sure. That's typically what she does write is historical fiction. So this is set in California in the 1980s, and we follow the River family, and their father is kind of like a famous rock star, and he appeared in The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I was about to say a spoiler, I won't say that. Yeah, so he appeared in that book briefly. So this is a story of his family, and at the end of summer they always throw a kind of infamous end of summer party. Ow, I just bumped my elbow. Yeah, so they throw an infamous end of summer party, and for this party we have a bunch of the River siblings, and they all kind of have their own kind of dark secrets that I think are going to come out throughout the night. And then at the end of the night we see that the River mansion is on fire. So yeah, I don't know why I haven't read this. I feel like it's going to be at least a 4-star because of my track record with Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I feel like this is perfect to put on the physical TBR now because of, physical TBR priorities list, because we are in spring heading into summer in Australia. So like, tell me this is not the perfect beach read in Australia. So that's why this is first back on the cart. Next up we have a sequel, The Girl in the Tower by Catherine Ardern. If you've also watched my videos before, you've heard me say a million times, I can never ever follow through and continue a series. So that's a running theme in my reading life. So this is The Girl in the Tower, the sequel to The Bear and the Nightingale, the second book in the Winter Night trilogy, I want to say. The first book, I actually genuinely can't remember what happened in that book. It's been so long since I've read it. I do remember it was set in Russia, and I do remember that I found the writing like phenomenal. I can't say that word. I don't know why I chose to say that word. Absolutely incredible. Let's say incredible instead of the P word. Yeah, but I definitely think I will need to reread the first book before I continue on to this. I think it's like Russian folklore retelling, if I remember correctly, and this is a continuation of our main character and her story. The third and final book that was already on my priority TBR and is going back is The Fellowship of the Ring, the first book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. I don't think I need to tell you the plot of this book. It's honestly one of my greatest reading shames that I haven't read this book. I call myself a fantasy reader and I haven't read Lord of the Rings. Shame on me. Shame on me. I read The Hobbit a couple of years ago and absolutely adored it. I thought it was absolutely so much fun. I know this is quite different. The Hobbit is more junior, and this is a darker, bigger story than The Hobbit, but I really liked the writing of The Hobbit, and I feel like you can't not like Lord of the Rings, right? So 2026, I'm calling it now, is the year that I read Lord of the Rings. My next bunch of books is going to be like physical TBR vets. I am shocking at reading my physical TBR, so I have a lot of books that have been sitting here for years, and I really feel like I've been saying this a lot lately, but I'm going to say it one more time. I am really trying to work on changing my shelves and getting rid of a shit ton of books. Back when I used to buy books for the sake of buying books, I feel like my taste has changed a lot recently. And I'm gotten a little bit pickier and more critical with what I read. So there's a lot on here that's been neglected for a very long time, and it's about time I work through some TBR vets. First up in the TBR vets, we have Six Crimson Cranes. This is by Elizabeth Lim. How beautiful is this cover? It's stunning. I just love the colors in it. I don't really know what this is about, so I'm going to read you the blurb. So, it will take more than magic to find her way home. Our main character, Shirari Anna, the only princess of Kyoto, has a secret. Forbidden magic runs in her veins, and on the morning of her betrothal ceremony, Shiori loses control. At first, her mistake seems like a stroke of luck, forestalling the wedding she never wanted, but it also catches the attention of Raikama, her stepmother. A sorceress in her own right, Raikama banishes the young princess, turning her brothers into cranes, and warning Shiori that she must speak of it to no one. For every word that escapes her lips, one of her brothers will die. Penniless, voiceless, and alone, Shiori searches for her brothers and uncovers a dark conspiracy to seize the throne. Only Shiori can set the kingdom to rights, but to do so she must place her trust in a paper bird, a mercurial dragon, and the very boy she fought so hard not to marry. And she must embrace the magic she's been taught all her life to contain, no matter the cost. This sounds sick. I don't know why this has been ignored. I think it's just fallen victim to I've got newer books and they have caught my attention more than this one, and it's just been up like on my very top shelf, which I think gets very ignored because it's not in my eyesight. But yeah, I don't know why I haven't read this. It sounds really good. The next TBR vet is Four Dead Queens by Astrid Skolate. I think I have tried to read this several times and just, I don't know, not that I haven't super liked it, it just hasn't been the right time, I don't think. So this follows like four queens. We follow a 17-year-old thief, and she steals a package from the messenger. And that means she's enthralled in a conspiracy that leads to all four of the queens being murdered. She ends up on the run, and she teams up with the messenger she stole the package from, and they try and figure out who killed the queens when Dark Street's secrets are revealed. So yeah, like I said, I've tried to read this several times and just, I don't think it's been the right time. I don't think I've like hated the writing or anything. It's fallen victim to me being a mood reader, I think. Let's talk more TBR vets. We have Renegades by Marissa Myers. Marissa Myers would probably know her for the Lunar Chronicles, which I haven't read. But this is a YA dystopian, I think. We follow this world where we have these people called Renegades that, from what I can tell, they've got like extraordinary powers, and our main character is trying to take them down. She's trying to get close to one of the renegades and, I don't know, like trick him? I don't know. I don't really know much about this plot, to be honest. My vibe is that these renegades are not so holy and amazing as they make themselves out to be. They probably have a dark secret. I don't know. It's a YA dystopian, so that's where I feel like it would probably be leading, but this book has just been ignored. I have never really had the urge to pick it up, so I think I definitely need to give it a go, otherwise it's just going to continue to sit there unloved. And then we have our next TBR vet, which is the sequel to The Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. This, I genuinely cannot remember the plot of The Raven Boys. It's something about they go, a bunch of friends trying to find like a dead king or something. Oh yeah, Blue is our main character. If I'm remembering correctly, her mum's got some kind of like ability, like she's psychic or something. She meets Genzi, a rich local student, and then she's pulled onto a quest with Genzi and his friends, Adam, Ronan, and Noah. And, oh yeah, Blue got told that she will be the cause of her true love dying. And then I think they all go on like a quest to find some dead king or something. I genuinely cannot remember what happens in this book, like, at all. So I'll definitely need to reread The Raven Boys before I continue with The Dream Thieves. At the time, I remember quite enjoying this. Again, I don't know if I'll enjoy it now. My taste has probably changed a bit since I've read this book, but we will reread this and then continue on with The Dream Thieves if I think that it's worth continuing on, I guess. The final two TBR vets going on the trolley are A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. This is the third and final book in the Darker Shade of Magic series. The first book being this one, A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I have such a mixed experience with V.E. Schwab's writing. I definitely like her older writing better, less than her newer, more lyrical kind of writing. I remember absolutely freaking loving this book. So this is a book where we have a bunch of different alternate versions of London, and they're all very different. Some have magic, some don't. We follow our main character Kel, who has this ability to travel between the different Londons, and he gets himself into a little bit of trouble. He's got he's a bit of a klepto, likes to steal from the different Londons, and he gets involved with this girl who is just trouble. So I remember absolutely freaking loving this book. I read book 1, book 2, and I never finished the trilogy. I had one book left, and that was A Conjuring of Light, and I never finished the series. I couldn't tell you why, because I don't like finishing series apparently. So again, I will definitely reread book 1 and 2 before I finish this final book in the trilogy. And then I have a bunch of the comics as well to read that I purchased even though I hadn't finished the series, because yeah, I was spend happy back then. Then we have Graceling by Kristen Cashaw. I probably bought this book because I thought the cover was pretty, because it is very pretty, and I'm pretty sure this is a pretty well-loved series that I couldn't tell you the plot of. So Katsa is Graceling, one of the rare people born with an extreme skill. As niece of the king, she lived a life of privilege until the day her ability to kill a man with her bare hands revealed itself during a royal banquet. Now she acts as her uncle's enforcer, travelling the kingdom and threatening those who dare oppose him. But everything changes when she meets Poe, a foreign prince graced with combat skills, who is searching for the truth about his grandfather's disappearance. When Katsa agrees to help him, she never expected to learn a truth about her own grace, or about a terrible secret that could destroy it all. That sounds really good. I feel like I'll enjoy this. I can see why I bought this, because that blurb really interests me. Plus the cover, like I said, is absolutely stunning. Moving away from my TBR vets, I'm going to talk about the next two books together, and you will probably see why. They're both Star Wars themed. I'm in such a Star Wars mood at the moment. I think it's a combination of things I saw last month or the month before. Time is all melding into one. I can't remember. I saw Star Wars A New Hope with the Sydney Symphony Orchestra playing the music live, which was an incredible experience. So that I think has reignited my Star Wars love. Plus Andor is really good, and I watched Nat from Nerdy Nat Reads. I will tag her channel in the description. Not that she needs my promotion, she's great. If you subscribe to me, you probably know her because she's amazing and much bigger than me. But yeah, she reads a bunch of the Star Wars books, and she does videos where she reads the Star Wars books, and I love watching her talk about them. So I feel like it's a combination of all those things that have put me in such a Star Wars mood and inspired me to put these on my priority TBR. So yeah, first one, The Princess and the Scoundrel by Beth Revis. I want to say, like, none of these are probably canon. They're all just like, I don't know, like Star Wars fan fiction basically. If you can't tell, this is a story of Hans and Leia. It doesn't really give much information in the blurb, to be honest. I don't even know when this is set or what it's about. So it's just, I don't know, Hans and Leia fanfiction. And then we have Star Wars from a Certain Point of View. This is a bunch of 40 short stories, I think, set in episode 1. Yeah. I don't know, actually. It doesn't say. Anyway, so this is 40 short stories by Pierce Brown wrote a story in this. That's cool. I wasn't actually looking at the authors before, but yeah, a bunch of authors. Oh, Sabah Tahir writes a story in this. I clearly haven't looked at this in a while, so I didn't remember that. But yeah, yeah, that's all I've got to say about these two books. I am in a very Star Warsy kind of mood. Next up, going on my priority cart, is Electra by Jennifer Saint. So I blame Percy Jackson and Madeline Miller for this spending of money on Greek mythology retellings. I think I read Madeline Miller's Circe and the Song of Achilles and was like, okay, I'm a Greek mythology girly. I will say my Greek mythology knowledge is very basic and I don't really know many of the stories. I think I just read Madeline Miller's books and thought, wow, these are amazing. Am I actually a huge Greek mythology retelling fan, or do I just like Madeline Miller's writing, and did I just like the Percy Jackson series? I don't know, but I need to find out, hence why I'm putting one of my Greek mythology retelling books on my physical TBR priority list. So this is a lecture by Jennifer Saint. This is, oh god, you can tell I'm not knowledgeable about Greek mythology because I can't pronounce this. The House of Real, oh god, I'm gonna get people unsubscribing for this. I can't pronounce words. Atreus. Let's say that. It's cursed, their house, a bloodline tainted by generational cycle of violence and vengeance. This is the story of three women, their fates inextricably tied to this curse, and the fickle nature of men and gods. I can't even say, like, I can't pronounce these names. Clytemnestra, the sister of Helen, wife of Agamemnon, hopes of averting the curse are dashed when her sister is taken to Troy by the feckless Paris. Her husband raises a great army against them and determines to win whatever the cost. Cassandra, princess of Troy and cursed by Apollo to see the future, but never to be believed when she speaks of it. She will be powerless in her knowledge that the city will fall. And Electra, the youngest daughter of Clytemnestra and Agamemnon. Electra is horrified by the bloodletting of her kin, but can she also escape the curse, or is her own destiny also bound by violence? So like I said, I'm not greatly knowledgeable about Greek mythology myths, but I do feel like they typically aren't stories of strong women, or women don't end up having a good time in them. So I do like the fact that a lot of these retellings have a female focus and female spin on the story. Yeah, I hope I like this book. I can't see why I wouldn't, and I really do feel like I need to give Greek mythology a chance. Like I said, I loved Madeline Miller, I loved Percy Jackson, and I now want to learn more about Greek mythology as well, because this year I became a fan of Hadestown the musical, so I want to do more retellings of the story because I will never get over seeing that musical. It's changed my life. So yeah, that's the next one on the card. Next TBR vet is The Ravens. This is by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. I honestly couldn't tell you what this is about. I bought this, I don't know how long ago actually, and have never thought about it since. 2020. Wow, like 5 years ago. That's shameful. And it's been sitting in my shelf and I've never thought about it again. I only kind of discovered it when I was looking through my shelves to film this video. So I think these sorority girls are real witches. So, oh, that punchline kind of gave me the ick a little bit. Uh-oh, only the sisterhood can save them. So this is like, sorority girls set in Georgia on a college campus, but these sorority girls are witches. And a wicked power rises on campus. The girls will have to put their rivalry aside to save their fellow sisters. Someone has discovered the Raven's secrets, and that someone will do anything to see them burn. I don't know. The sorority girls are real witches has given me a little bit of the ick, but I don't know anything about this book or why that I wouldn't like it, so it's going on the priority cart because I need to read this. This poor thing has been neglected for 5 years. Next up on the TBR vet list is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. So you can tell it's an old book if it's a hardback, by the way, back when I used to buy hardbacks, which I very much regret now. But yes, so this is Ninth House. This is dark academia. So back again when I would spend money on anything. I mean, it is a Leigh Bardugo book. Let me quickly say, Six of Crows is obviously one of my favorite series duologies of all time. It is what it's what reignited my reading after high school. End of high school, my reading just kind of stopped and I wanted to start it again. Went to the bookstore one day when I was in uni, bought Six of Crows and never have looked back. So Leigh Bardugo is my girl, so that is partly why I bought this book. But again, I guess at the time I bought this, dark academia was very trendy, and I had never read a dark academia book before. I have now read 2 quite recently, and thoroughly hated them both, and I think I've discovered dark academia is not my vibe, but it's Leigh Bardugo, so we'll give it a fair go. I'm not gonna unhaul it without, you know, trying. Ooh, look at the snake, that's kind of cool. I think this is like your typical dark academia, like college campus. Yale, actually. Yale's college campus, secret societies, magic, secrets, magic, I've already said that, unsolved crime. So yeah, your typical, very typical dark academia plot. I don't know how we'll feel. Speaking of hardbacks, next up we have Hunting Prince Dracula by Kerry Manicello. This is the second book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I read that a very long time ago. I can't remember how long ago, but quite a while ago. The first book follows our main characters, whose name is Audrey. Audrey is learning to be some kind of medical thing, if I remember correctly. Forensics. Learning forensics at the time in the first book, Stalking Jack the Ripper, which obviously at the time women weren't typically allowed to do or given the opportunity to do. And then I think the first book is her and this guy who are both forensic students learning from the same person, who I think is one of Audrey's relatives, if I'm remembering correctly. And they end up hunting, yeah, Jack the Ripper. Stalking Jack the Ripper. And then this continues on from the first book, but it's a whole new story. We follow Audrey, let's see, as she goes to Europe's most prestigious forensic school in a Romanian castle that once homed Vlad the Impaler. Yeah, and then a series of troubling deaths bring whispers of Vlad's bloodthirsty return from the grave. So I think her and Thomas is the guy that she trained with. Thomas will have to hunt another killer together. I remember enjoying Stalking Jack the Ripper at the time. This is another one where I'm probably going to have to reread that before jumping into this book. The final hardback is The First to Die at the End. This is by Adam Silvera. This is, I think, a prequel to, it should be right behind me, there it is. This book here, oh, that was uncomfortable angle for my wrist. They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. So I think this is a prequel to that story. This is kind of a universe where there's this thing called Deathcast, and it gives you, I can't remember if it's a phone call or a text message, something like that. It notifies you when you have 24 hours left in your life to live. So in They Both Die at the End, you follow two people who have 24 hours to live, and then, yeah, living those last 24 hours. And I obsessed, absolutely adored that book, found it beautiful, sobbed, loved it, 10 out of 10, 5 stars. So this is a prequel, and I think, if I'm remembering correctly, this is the first night that Deathcast existed. So we follow someone on the first night of Deathcast being a thing. I don't know why I haven't read this book. I genuinely have no idea why I haven't picked this up. Why I didn't read it as soon as I purchased it, to be honest, because of how much I loved They Both Die at the End. So I'm very keen to read this. Next up on the TBR vet list is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. Yes, I haven't taken the sticker off. I forgot to. I paid $6 for this book. What a bargain. So I don't want to put this on my shelf to struck list because I haven't like heard anything bad about it, and I haven't, you know, attempted to read it and not like it. The reason I'm unsure about this book is because I think it's got the time loop trope, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I genuinely kind of hate it in sci-fi, but this is not a sci-fi, this is more of a thriller. I think Evelyn Hardcastle continues to get murdered over and over, and this guy needs to solve it, but every morning he wakes up in the body of a different guest at this house, so he has to try and figure out who is killing Evelyn Hardcastle over and over. So I think the thriller kind of makes me seem like the time loop trope will be, I don't know, that I can tolerate it in this kind of context. So yeah, and plus it's been on my shelf for so long. The last book on my TBR vet list is The Ask and the Answer by Patrick Ness. This is the second book in the Chaos Walking trilogy, I want to say. I think it's a trilogy. This is a YA book. We follow this world where men and boys can hear each other's thoughts, and there's no women left in the world, I don't think, if I'm remembering correctly. There's not meant to be any women left, it's just men after this big, I can't remember what happened, something happened to wipe out all the women, and we follow our main character who finds a woman and everything goes to shit, pretty much. I remember thoroughly enjoying The Knife of Never Letting Go, the first book. I thought it was really unique at the time and I really loved it, and I have never continued on with the series. Surprise, surprise. So that's why this is on the list. The criteria for this last lot of books are the books that I am genuinely so hyped for. Books that I think I'm just going to absolutely eat up, and that's why they're on the priority TBR. Let's just jump into it. First up, we have a newer addition to my physical TBR. That is The Principle of Moments by Esme Jagemi Pearson. This is like a space opera. I think it's queer as well. I think there's time travel even. So we follow two characters, one in 6066. We have an evil kind of overlord, which, you know, a recipe for a fantastic space opera, who has like people working as the humans working as indentured laborers. Asha knows she's just another cog working on the assembly line that fuels our emperor's vast war machine, but she steals aeronautic manuals in the dead of night, and then a cloaked stranger arrives to deliver an impossible message and her life changes in an instant. We also go back to 1812, Obi, who is a time traveler, and he's kind of done with time travel. He doesn't know how to cure himself of the temporal sickness he caught while anchoring his soul to Regency London. He doesn't know if the prince he loved will ever love him back or why his father disappeared. And then he hears about the ghost of a girl in the British Museum, a girl from another time. And then their paths tangle, a prophecy awakens, they must voyage through the stars, race against time, tyranny, and the legacy of three heroes from an ancient religion who may be awakening, reincarnated in ways beyond comprehension. This sounds very, very vast and overwhelming plot, but I'm genuinely so hyped for this book. It sounds amazing. The cover is stunning and I'm always hyped to read a space opera. Next up we have Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. Yes, I can't believe I haven't read this book yet. I literally took overtime day off on release day to go buy this book, and I still haven't read it. I'm intimidated by it. I don't want to hate it. I hated so much The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. The movie was better. I quite enjoyed the movie. So I'm just scared I'm gonna hate it. My colleague told me at work that it's way more like the original series, so I probably will like it more, but I'm still scared. But I need to read it soon because the movie comes out next year, I think. Next up we have another new addition to the physical TBR. That is Jane Harper's last one out. I fucking love Jane Harper. I met her. Insert picture here. She is so lovely. This is her latest release. It only came out a couple of weeks ago. Her books are kind of thriller, but they're really more focused purely on characters than the plot, and I always feel like thrillers are kind of like a secondary plot in her books. This is set in a mining town. Well, yeah, a town near where her mine has been set up, and the mine kind of kills the town, and there's not a lot of original people left in the town. The mine and the noise and the destruction has kind of forced them out. Then a boy comes back to this town that he grew up in, and he is never seen again. So then 5 years later, there's a memorial for this guy's disappearance, and the mother wants answers about what happened to her son. Speaking of Jane Harper, we have The Exiles by her. This is the third and final book in the Aaron Falk series, the one that starts with The Dry. Each book in this series has a different investigation. This is the final book, set in, starts off at a festival, like a wine festival, an Australian wine country. Our detective is at the celebrations, but he begins to suspect this tight group community may be more fractured than it seems, and I think something goes wrong. I'm not sure what. I really need to finish this trilogy. Again, I can't finish trilogies. Next up we have Call of the Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. This is the second book in the Tide Child trilogy, the sequel to The Bone Ships. This is like dragon hunting and character redemption, and yeah, the first book, the first dragon in centuries has been spotted, so you follow a crew going to go try and hunt that dragon. But there's so much more than that. It's plot and politics and amazing character development and so fun, and I definitely will again have to reread the Bone Ships before going into the Call of the Bone Ships, but I fucking loved this book so much, and I genuinely don't talk about it on my channel enough, so a reread will hopefully get me talking about it again. Okay, I'm gonna try and hurry up a little bit. I feel like I've been talking forever. Next up we have The Will of the Many by James Islington, the first book in the Hierarchy series. You can tell I've attempted to start this before and it wasn't the right time. This is a very intimidating book. This is like so popular at the moment. This is fantasy, I think. I got it because I could not stop hearing about this book. Everyone was talking about it, how amazing of a fantasy it was. I think the sequel just came out recently, or is about to come out, The Strength of the Few, I think it's called. So I need to hurry up and catch up with this series. But yeah, I'm genuinely really intimidated by the size of it, and I feel like I remember starting this and it was very, very heavy fantasy, like epic fantasy, so I'm quite intimidated by it. Next up we have Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. I will admit I've read a Maggie O'Farrell book before. I think of this one, The Marriage Portrait. I loved the idea of the book, hated the book itself, so not a great start, but I've heard absolutely incredible stuff about this. This is a retelling of Hamnet, who was Shakespeare's son, and the play Hamlet was obviously named after him. So this is about Hamlet's life. It is going to have a movie adaptation next year that looks really, really good, so I need to hurry up and read this. My colleague just read it and said it was amazing as well, so yeah, I need to read this before the movie comes out. Another space opera, The Blighted Stars by Megan O'Keefe. I'm also in such a space opera mood. As you can tell, I've attempted to read this before. Need to start from the start though, probably. I think it follows this, again, evil empire that are mining these planets. And yes, we follow the heir to that empire, bookish and quiet Tarquin, and we follow a revolutionary who I think goes undercover as his bodyguard, and the ship goes down, they get trapped on this planet together, and they have to help each other survive. And this is my favourite line, and definitely what made me purchase this book. They will uncover a plot that's bigger than them both. So yeah, I feel like this is maybe enemies to lovers and adventure. Sounds perfect for me. Next up we have A Tide of Black Steel by Anthony Ryan. This is also the first in a series, I think. Oh yes, The Age of Wrath, book 1. So we follow the sister queens that have ruled the land of Ascalia for centuries. No one has dared question their rule until now. Whispers speak of longships of the tattooed warriors, sailing under the banners of a cult of oathbreakers long thought exist. A tide of black steel that threatens to vanquish all in its path. Thera, a blackspear favoured servant of the sister queens, is ordered to uncover the truth. As Thera sails north, her reviled brother Felnir sets out on his own adventure. He hopes to find the vaults of the Altvar, the treasure rooms of the gods, and win his sister queen's favour at his sister's expense. Ooh. Both siblings, along with a brilliant young scribe and a prisoner with a terrifying primal power, will play the part in the coming storm. The Age of Wrath has begun. This sounds sick. I think I went book shopping one day and I was like, I want to just discover a book that I haven't heard of instead of just like title hunting, which I just feel like I do recently at bookshops. I don't go through and discover new books, and this was one I discovered, and it just sounds like, it sounds awesome. I think it's also multiple POV by the sounds of it, which just makes it all the better. Next up we have Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout, the first book in the Flesh and Fire series. So this is set in the world of From Blood and Ash, which I absolutely love. But this is like I think it's a prequel series, I could be wrong. But I remember hearing you can't continue on with like book 4 or whatever I'm up to of the Blood and Ash series until you read this one, which is very sneaky, and I remember pissing me off at the time because I was like, no, you have to buy her other series to continue with Blood and Ash. That's sneaky and I don't like it. But I'm a sucker. I'm going to do it anyway because I want to continue with Blood and Ash. I'm not usually a romantasy lover. I could count on my hand the amount of romantasies that I've liked. This is one that I do genuinely have a really fun time with, and at the end of the last From Blood and Ash book I read, it just turned into this epic fantasy out of nowhere, from like romantasy smut to like this epic fantasy. So I'm really liking this series. It's definitely another one it's definitely another one where I will have to go back and reread all the From Blood and Ash books that I've read in the series before I continue on with this one, because I can't remember a thing that happened. Next up we have Battle Royale by Kushan Takami. This is, I think, a bunch of kids get set to a deserted island and they have to fight each other until there's one person left standing. I've heard amazing stuff about this book. I think this cover is sick, and I am genuinely so hyped to read this. This sounds really fun. Lucky last, we have The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. I think this is like a lesbian fantasy. Trapped by her despotic brother within the crumbling walls of an ancient temple, Princess Milani dreams of vengeance. Meanwhile, maidservant Priya, forced to disavow her power and her birthright because of her past dreams of freedom. In a world beset by wild magic and turbulent uprising, their destinies will become irrevocably tangled, and together they will set an empire ablaze. I've heard nothing but amazing stuff about this book, and I feel like it'll be another book that I'll just absolutely eat up. Books are on. This is my new physical TBR priority cart. I'm quite happy with what I've chosen here. I think this is a good mix of books that I'm really keen to read, books I think I'm going to love, and books that have been sitting on my TBR for way too long that I need to get to kind of curate my shelves a little bit better and actually have books on here that I like. So I think this is a perfect mix for that, and I definitely going to be looking to this first when I'm creating TBRs, probably starting in December and going through to the new year. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know which of these on my priority TBR should I prioritize. Have you read any of the books? Do you think I will like them? Which ones should I read first? Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Give this video a like if you did, and subscribe if you would like to see more of my content. I am aiming to post one video a week, so keep an eye out for those. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in whatever the hell I post next. Bye!